Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Daisy. For today's video, many of you guys want me to talk about La Llorona, so here it is. If you're interested, grab your snacks, grab your cobija, and let's get straight into it. So I am sure many of you guys have heard about La Leyenda de La Llorona, the legend of the weeping lady. And I am sure many of you guys have heard the different versions of the legends from different pueblos, from even all around the world, honestly. But one thing that is for sure is that many people have claimed to seen her and, of course, heard her. So legend goes that there was once a woman named Maria. Now this woman was beautiful and she knew it. She was determined in finding the most handsome man for her to marry. Once she found her match, her galan, they married and soon after had 2 children together. One version of the story is that the man, her husband, was a two-timer, meaning that he was cheating on Maria. And another version of this story is that Maria became resentful towards her children because of the relationship that her husband and the children had. She felt neglected by her husband, which resulted in Maria to lose all her canicas, all her marbles, and drown her own children out of spite. But once she figured out, once she realized what she had done, she herself drowned purposefully. After her death, it is said that her restless soul continues to look for her children. Although the versions of the legend can vary, people have claimed to have heard her cry late at night for her children. Some people just hear her desperate cry for her children, and there's other people that encounter the same cry but just to be accompanied by her saying, "Ay, mis hijos." Oh, my children. Personally, my family's encounters with La Llorona, my older sister and my tia have encountered her desperate cry for her children while she's also saying, "Ay, mis hijos." So I believe both claims of how people hear her. Some people just hear her cry and some people hear her cry with saying, "Ay, mis hijos." And some people have encountered both versions. That one time that they hear her just cry, and then the second time they hear La Llorona, they hear her say, "Ay, mis hijos," while having that desperate cry. Oh my goodness, just to think that La Llorona is switching it up on us. Like, girl, we need consistency. Like, what are you doing? And it is said if you hear her far away, that means that she's close, and if you hear her close, that means she's far away. Well, that just creeps me out, just to think that once you hear her far away, she's actually like outside your window, girl. Now, people have claimed to have captured La Llorona on camera. On September 12th, in Córdoba, Veracruz, a las 3 de la mañana and 3 in the morning, while a man was working at his job, started to record what he believed to be the lamentos of La Llorona, the cries of La Llorona. Take a listen.
Oye, Rafael, ¿estás oyendo eso, güey?
No mames, no sé si se escucha.
Puta madre, güey. Puto lamento de los pinches perros, güey. Ah, su puta madre. La neta ya me está dando miedo, güey. No mames. Vamos a ver las bodegas, no mames. Puta madre. Puta madre, ya me dio escalofrío. Puta madre. A ver, vamos para allá, güey. Pues la neta ya me está dando miedo, güey. Puta madre. No hay nada, güey. Puta madre, Rafael, mejor vámonos, güey. No hay ni madres en la esa, güey.
Now, if those cries did not scare you, I don't know what will, because just the video just captured the eeriness of the night, the cries, how it just blends into the wind. It just kind of plays tricks on you, like, is it the wind? But you're like, no, it's definitely not the wind. It's very distinct and obvious at the very same time, while it's like camouflaging into the wind. I don't know if I'm like being deep over here, but that's exactly how I heard it. But yeah, it was just super creepy. Now the next video that I came across was from Puebla in Mexico. A guy named Martin was in bed when he started to hear a woman's cry outside of his house. Did you guys notice that all the dogs in the neighborhood started to bark while the crying was heard? I'm telling you guys, dogs always know what's up 100% all the time. And also the fact that you can hear her cries getting closer and closer in seconds is what gives me the creeps. But people don't just claim to have heard her. People also claim to have seen her and capture it on camera. This video that I'm about to show you, I don't know if it's true, but one thing that is for sure is that it's 100% keeping me up at night. Just take a look.
Para. Ahí hay güey, boluda.
Qué raro.
Ahí hay güey, boluda.
Ay, no. ¿Qué hizo?
Pará, tranquila.
Ay, San, ¿lo vas a seguir? Ay, se fue para la calle. Ojo. ¿Qué? Ay, no, ¿qué hizo? ¿Qué hizo? ¿Qué hizo? No.
Pará, que hay güey, pará.
Ay. Ay, no está mirando. No está mirando, no está mirando, está siguiendo. Vámonos, anda a saber qué es. No, vámonos. Ay, no, vámonos, ay, no, me da miedo.
Vamos a ver qué.
Ay. Pero si ahí es una mujer loca, ¿qué? ¿Qué es eso?
Okay, but the fact that there was a child heard in the back seat is what makes me think that this is true. I'm still like, ooh, I don't know. But let me know, what do you guys think down below? Maybe it's not a Llorona, but that's what they claim it to be, so that's why it's featured in this video. Pero quién sabe. But now for this video. Oh my gosh, you just take a look.
¡Corre!
Is it me or is it moving abnormally fast? It doesn't look like it's running, but as if it's floating. I didn't notice it until I rewatched it a couple of times just to see, you know, like tampoco I don't want to just show you guys like act like really Daisy this looks fake, but this video I was just like, oh my god, like honestly it looks like it's floating. It just got close to them so fast. It looks like it was distance away, but all of, like out of nowhere it was just really close to them, and just that alone creeped me the hell out. So I had to show you guys. But what do you guys think? Do you think it's just someone playing a prank, having, you know, a white sabana on and running, or do you guys think it's actually La Llorona or something paranormal, supernatural? I think, I don't know about that one. That one did look weird, to be honest. Okay, but now to read your guys' encounters with La Llorona. Now this is what I'm excited for, so let's just get straight into it. Okay, so let's start with story number 1. Hey girl, this story I'm about to tell you is about La Llorona. I was 5 years old at that time. I used to live in a callejero, which is an alley in Orizaba, Mexico. My sister at the time was 17 years old. She had gone out with some friends and told my mom she was going to be back at 11 p.m. It was 12:30-ish when my mom woke us up telling us that we had to go get my sister from the party she had gone to, and that she was going to be in trouble for not being home. But anyways, we were getting ready to go outside, and as soon as we opened the door, we heard, "Ay, mis hijos." Oh my god, it goes. My mom freaked out and she shut the door, and we were all hiding under the bed. We were praying and trying to be as quiet as possible. She sounded so far, so that meant she was close by. Then out of nowhere, we heard someone trying to get in from the front door, twisting the doorknob. 5 minutes later, we hear banging on the door with a woman llorando. But the cry sounded weird. I have no idea how to explain the cry, but just know it was a creepy cry. My mom just grabbed both of us, hugged us tight, and started praying until it stopped. And my mom called the neighbors to help get my sister from her friend's house. Until this day, people don't believe our story. Thank you for sharing my story. Besos, girl. Besos to you too. What the heck? Oh hell no. You poor things were woken up and didn't even probably have time to process what you guys were hearing. Mira, but your sister over there having the time of her life. Eso sí, ¿verdad? Eso sí. No, but seriously, like that is creepy. And your poor mom, like it sounds like you guys were home alone with her. Like I wouldn't even know what the heck to do. Especially when she's over here, like the person, La Llorona, I don't know if it was La Llorona, over here trying to open the house door. No, eso sí, I can't. No. But thank you so much for writing in. If you have any more La Llorona stories, I want to hear more. So if you guys have more, let me know. Email me, daisyspooks@gmail.com. So now on to the next story. Hey Daisy, I have a creepy story for you. So this took place 2 years ago. My grandma recently passed away and we booked emergency flights to go to Mexico. We were planning on going but ended up going sooner because of this. We were in Guerrero in a small pueblo called El Tabacal, which was a really small pueblo my mom was from. So it was my family and 2 cousins on this trip. This mainly happened to me, my brother, my older cousin, and my nephew. Well, since my grandma had passed, we were doing prayers every day. It was getting dark, and keep in mind, it was really, really hot in Mexico. And because of this, we would sleep on hammocks. Well, that night we heard cries of a woman that sounded pretty far away. It woke me up and my mom and my cousin. We were pretty concerned, but my mom said, "Es La Llorona." The cries were getting further, but it felt like she was near. My brother claimed to have seen her in her white dress walking down the street. The scary thing that made us believe it was real was that the next morning I woke up super sick that day out of nowhere. I just randomly got sick that day, and I feel like that had something to do with it. My cousin who was down the street from us, he was there with his tia and grandma. They claimed to have heard a woman weeping, that they all literally heard her walk by the house while they were sleeping. I really believed that we heard La Llorona. I have never heard that people get sick after hearing La Llorona. Let me know if that has happened to you guys, anyone that you guys know after hearing La Llorona, because I wonder if it was a correlation. that would be very interesting to know. But thank you so much for writing in. If I don't say the name, it's because it wasn't clear if they wanted me to say their name. Usually I know when they want me to say their name, but thank you so much regardless. But anyways, on to the next story. Hey Daisy, my name is Litzy and I wanted to share my story with you about my family's experience with La Llorona. This happened about a year ago. My parents' room is the room in front of the house. They have a small window and they keep it open at night when it gets hot. Well, around 4:20 a.m., my parents were awoken by a lady weeping so loud that they thought the lady was inside the house. My mom and dad couldn't believe what they heard. My dad went out the room to check what was happening. He went to the front door to see if there was anyone there, but by the time he reached the door, he didn't hear the woman weeping anymore. By the way, my brother and I didn't hear anything. My parents were the only ones who heard the lady. In the morning, I asked my dad what happened and why he walked into my room and left without saying something to me. And he then said, "¿De qué estás hablando? Yo no fui a tu cuarto. What are you talking about? I didn't go to your room." When he told me this, I honestly freaked out. By the way, at this point, I did not know about what had happened during the night. My dad went to work and told his coworkers what had happened that night. And one of the coworkers said that if we heard the Llorona close, that a family member from far away would pass away. And that if we heard it far away, that means someone close would pass away. My dad came back from work that night and told my mom what his coworker said. We were all worried about who would pass away. Not even a week passes by and my tia calls my mom and says that my abuelito passed away. My mom broke down and said, "Sí, fue la Llorona que los vino a avisar." It means yes, the weeping lady came to us to let us know. From that day on, I've been scared to sleep because my dad said he didn't walk in my room that night. So who walked in my room? Thank you, Daisy. Stay safe. Stay safe too. Thank you for writing in. I'm so sorry about your abuelito passing away. But that is so interesting that that coworker, your dad's coworker, told him about that. I've never heard of that. Have you guys heard about that? Am I the only one that just doesn't know about this? I need to look that up for sure. Pero the more you know, huh? Okay, but now for my next and last encounter of La Llorona. Hey Daisy, first of all, I love your amazing content. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind words. I really do. Thank you. This story is kind of the version of the Indian La Llorona. I believe this story to be authentic because this happened to my own mother. So my parents have 2 children, me and my elder brother. This story traces back long ago to about 20 years ago when my parents were a couple of newlyweds. So in our Indian culture, whenever a couple is married, the bride has to stay at her husband's home with her in-laws for some time. My father was from a small countryside village surrounded by farms and open fields in an Indian state. It had been a little over a year since my mother was living with her in-laws. A few months later, my mother found out that she was pregnant and soon she had my older brother. Since the place wasn't as developed in those years, people used to sleep in open fields during summertime because of the cool breeze that used to flow during night. So when my brother was about a year old, he and my mother used to sleep on one bed, my grandpa on the second one, and my grandma on the third one. And mind you, all of these beds were out on the field. So one late night, my mother woke up to the sound of a faint crying of a woman that was coming from one corner of the open field, but there was a house of a known person nearby. So my mother thought that there might be someone fighting and someone might be going through a tough time. But the next day, my mother heard the same crying, but this time it was a little louder and it seemed to be a little closer. Ooh. This continued for a few nights and it grew so scary that my mother would hear the cries starting from somewhere far and slowly creeping towards her and my brother, but the crying would not come closer after stopping at a nearby tree, and every night it stopped at the same spot. My mom got so scared that one day she told my grandma about the frequent unstoppable crying. My grandma was immediately startled, but did not show it in order not to frighten my mom. Later, she heard her talking to some other lady saying she hears it too. Apparently, one of her family friends who lived nearby recently experienced a tragedy. Their daughter-in-law, leaving everything behind, even her 2 children, ended her own life by jumping into a very nearby river, and her unrested soul would cry during nights, regretted her decisions and leaving her children behind. The creepiest part is that only 2 people, my mother and another newlywed mother, heard the cries. It is believed because the spirit of the lady would cry looking at them with their dear babies. The family whose daughter-in-law died were not much believers in God, but after getting to know about the incidents, and after much persuasion, the family held rituals for the spirit to rest in peace, and the crying of the woman was never heard again. Much love, Advik. Thank you so much, Advik, for writing in. I loved it. Like, what? And not only that, like, it's just so crazy that La Llorona transcends into other cultures. That is like the beauty, what I find the beauty of La Leyenda, the legend of the iconic Llorona. Like, that to me is what makes this legend so special, that all cultures have its own version of La Llorona, the weeping lady. So thank you so much for sharing that story with us, to have another perspective of the weeping lady in your culture. So thank you so much. That loved it. Thank you so much, Advik. So that was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys got at least somewhat spooked. But if you have any legends you guys want me to talk about, let me know down below in the comments. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.